From windswept canyons to towering arches, Earth's surface is a canvas, and nature is the wild artist. Rock formations, as simple as they seem, are masterpieces carved over millions of years by the raw, relentless power of natural forces. In this video, let's explore the stunning ways these rocks tell stories. Let's begin. Let's start with the wind. We underestimate wind. It may be invisible, but it's a powerful sculptor. In deserts, wind carries tiny particles of sand that act like nature's sandblaster. Over time, these particles slam into rock surfaces, slowly wearing them down and carving them into incredible shapes. One perfect example is the Arches National Park in Utah. The graceful arches weren't built in a day. It took millions of years of wind erosion nibbling at softer rock layers, while harder layers held on, eventually forming freestanding arches that look like giant stone rainbows. Wind can also create what's called yardangs, streamlined rock ridges that look like nature's version of aerodynamic design. It's all about persistence. A breeze today, a sculpture in a few million tomorrows. Now, let's turn the page to a much calmer artist, water. Slow and steady, but equally epic. Water might not seem dangerous, but given enough time, it can cut through stone like a hot knife through butter. Sounds surprising, right? But that's exactly how rivers shape the land around them. As water flows, it picks up small rock and sand particles, dragging them along the riverbed. These act like natural sandpaper, grinding away at the rock below, slowly but surely carving out valleys, canyons, and deep gorges. Take the Grand Canyon, for example. It wasn't built by machines or a magical hammer. The mighty Colorado River did all the work over millions of years, slicing through rock layer by layer, creating one of the most breathtaking sights on Earth. But rivers aren't the only water artists in nature's toolbox. Rainwater plays its part too, especially through chemical weathering. When rain mixes with carbon dioxide in the air, it forms a weak acid that reacts with certain minerals in rocks. Over time, it dissolves them slowly, kind of like soda fizzing away at a piece of chalk. And we can't forget the ocean. Coastal erosion is just as dramatic. Waves crash against cliffs and shorelines, breaking down rocks into smooth pebbles or forming towering sea stacks, those tall, lonely rock pillars that stand guard by the sea. Nature doesn't rush, but wow, does it get things done? But if you think water is strong, wait till we introduce you to nature's slow-moving monster, ice. Glaciers may seem slow and sleepy, but they're mighty bulldozers of stone. As they move downhill, they pick up rocks, soil, and debris, grinding everything underneath them like a giant conveyor belt of destruction. The result? U-shaped valleys, fjords, and sharp, rugged peaks like those in the Alps, all beautifully sculpted by ice. These icy giants are experts in plucking and abrasion. They pull chunks of rock from the ground and scrape the earth beneath them, leaving behind deep parallel grooves called glacial striations. These markings are nature's way of telling us which direction the glacier once moved. When glaciers eventually melt, they leave behind some pretty quirky souvenirs. Moraines, huge heaps of rocky debris, and erratics, which are massive boulders dropped off miles away from their original location. You'll find these lost rocks sitting awkwardly in open fields or on hillsides. So next time you see a lonely boulder sitting where it shouldn't be, thank a glacier for that little surprise. Ice is cool, literally, but what happens when rocks face the heat or sudden chills? Let's talk temperature. Imagine heating a pan and then tossing it into ice water. Crack. That's exactly what happens to rocks exposed to extreme temperature changes. During the day, heat causes the outer layers of rock to expand. At night, the sudden drop in temperature makes them contract. Do this over and over, and eventually, the rock peels off in layers, a process called exfoliation. You can often see this in desert landscapes where rocks appear to be flaking or shedding their skin. In colder regions, freeze-thaw cycles do the trick. Water seeps into tiny cracks in rocks, freezes, expands, and forces the cracks wider. Eventually, the rock splits apart completely. That's how you get jagged cliffs, broken boulders, and slopes littered with shattered rock fragments. Even small cracks can turn into big breaks if given enough time. Mother Nature really knows how to use both the oven and freezer to shape her sculptures. Quiet, patient, but unstoppable. And while heat and cold sneak in silently, gravity prefers a more dramatic entrance. Gravity doesn't chisel or scrape, it pulls. But oh boy, does it pull hard. It causes rock falls, landslides, and slumps, especially when other forces like water or earthquakes weaken the base of a slope. When a big chunk of rock loses its grip and tumbles down, it creates piles of debris at the bottom, called talus or scree, often forming cone-shaped mounds at the foot of cliffs. Over time, gravity-driven movements reshape entire landscapes in dramatic fashion. Caves may collapse into sinkholes, cliffs may erode into rolling hills, and even the sides of mountains can crumble into massive boulder fields. These processes can happen slowly or all at once, catching everything in their path off guard. It's chaotic, unpredictable, dangerous, and oh so effective. Gravity might be silent, but it leaves a loud impact wherever it goes. While gravity takes things down, life can break rocks apart from the inside out. Time to understand the biological side. You'd think tiny plants couldn't do much damage, right? Wrong. Plant roots are nature's crowbars. They wriggle into cracks, grow thicker, and push rocks apart. Trees can split boulders and lift pavements, and their roots are surprisingly persistent. Then you have lichens, those colourful patches on rocks. They may seem harmless, but they secrete acids that slowly eat away at rock surfaces. Over centuries, even microscopic life can leave a mark. When you think about it, nature's smallest creatures can sometimes cause the biggest changes. Isn't that amazing? Now, let's turn up the heat again, this time with molten rock. Volcanoes are like Earth's fireworks show, but with lava. When a volcano erupts, it spews molten rock, which cools and solidifies into various types of igneous rocks. Sometimes, the lava cools slowly underground, forming massive granite domes like Yosemite's Half Dome. Other times, lava cools quickly above ground, forming columns, like at Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland. Perfect hexagonal pillars stacked like nature's Lego. Ash and debris from eruptions also build tough cones and lava plateaus, shaping unique landscapes in places like Iceland and Hawaii. Volcanoes may seem destructive, but they're also Earth's way of creating new ground, literally. And while lava builds from the inside out, chemicals quietly reshape rocks molecule by molecule. Let's get into chemistry. Chemical weathering is like a slow science experiment happening in plain sight. Water reacts with minerals to form new compounds, often softer or more brittle than the original rock. Limestone, for instance, dissolves easily in slightly acidic water, creating karst landscapes with sinkholes, caves, and even underground rivers. One standout example, the stone forest in China, where limestone pillars stand like petrified trees, shaped by nothing but water and time. And don't forget stalactites and stalagmites inside caves, formed by mineral-rich water dripping for thousands of years. Turns out, chemistry isn't just for labs, it's also for Earth's grand designs. Speaking of dramatic changes, let's explore the biggest force of them all, tectonic movement. Earth's crust isn't a solid sheet, it's a jigsaw puzzle of tectonic plates. These plates shift, collide, and slide past each other, forming mountains, ridges, and deep valleys. When plates collide, the crust crumples upward to form mountain ranges like the Himalayas. Sometimes, the stress causes rocks to crack, creating fault lines. One big slip, and you've got an earthquake. Other times, rocks are folded into ridges and valleys like ripples on a rug. The Appalachian Mountains were formed this way over hundreds of millions of years. Without tectonic movement, Earth would be flat and boring. But lucky for us, the planet likes to keep things exciting. And as you've probably guessed by now, most of these forces don't work alone. Let's talk teamwork. Most rock formations aren't the work of just one force. They're the product of teamwork. Wind, water, ice, heat, gravity, and time all playing their part. Bryce Canyon's hoodoos, for instance, were shaped by frost wedging, rainwater erosion, and soft rock layers giving way more easily than hard layers. So next time you see a spectacular rock spire, a twisting canyon, or a balanced boulder, remember, It took a village of natural forces to make that happen. And it wasn't just a one-time event. It was a symphony of erosion, weathering, and geological drama played out over years. From icy glaciers to blazing volcanoes, Earth's forces never stop shaping the land we walk on. Each rock formation is a storybook of patience, power, and transformation. Isn't it incredible how something as simple as a rock can hold millions of years of history? Which force do you think is the most powerful artist of them all? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.